Hello. I would like to answer like the first 4 or 5 questions with one answer. Firstly, being, how did I get involved with the Heroes of Might and Magic franchise? It's a good question. In my late 20s, I think I was about 28, 27, 20, 28 years old, I was at a party and I met this guy named Rob King. He was setting up recording equipment for this mutual friend of ours who is an opera singer. This opera singer was going to be doing a recital at one of our friends' apartments in Pasadena, California. So Rob and I were talking that night as he was in charge of the recording, and he found out that I was a classical pianist and a composer since I was like 3 years old. And we talked just about music and his engineering and me being a pianist and a composer. A few weeks later, he called me and he said, hey, by the way, I work for this game company and called New World Computing, and we are creating this new computer game called Heroes of Might and Magic, and we're trying to figure out music for it. And actually, he said that they were trying to compose music for the game themselves, but they couldn't make it sound very old because everybody who worked at New World in the sound department, they were all rock and roll musicians. So he remembered meeting me at this party, and he remembered that I was a classical composer, classically trained composer. So he asked if I would come into his studio in his apartment, and so I did. And there was like this little keyboard like this, probably 66 keys, and I just started improvising in the style of Beethoven or Mozart, Bach, and he liked the sound of the Baroque music from like Bach, Scarlatti, Handel, and he thought, goes, this kind of sound actually would work for our new game. So do you think that you can compose some music real fast for us? So I said, sure. So he showed me, like, we're gonna do it on a keyboard. We can do a harpsichord sound. We can then have we can add violin sounds. We can add viola sounds. He goes, what kind of sounds do you want? I said, well, primarily, if you want it to be like really Baroque sounding, pretty simple, like a timpani, some horns, a few woodwinds, but primarily strings, bass, cello, viola, violin, and piano. I'm sorry, not piano, harpsichord. And so he set up all the sounds for me, and I think in probably 5 days, I did the main themes for the Heroes of Might and Magic first game. So that was like, at the time I was doing all kinds of different jobs in construction. I was playing piano at a church. I wasn't working really in music at all, like as a musician. I was just trying to like make ends meet, and so I was very happy to take this one job to do some music in the style of Bach, who I love very much. And so I thought it was a one-time deal. And then a few months later, they said, oh, we need to do a second installation of Heroes, the game. We need to add more music, more of the game. So they asked me to do more, and I never really thought if the game was going to be a success or not, because I never played it. I still to this day have never played any game, any video game. I was in Ukraine, and I did a little tournament of playing Heroes, but somebody was actually playing for me, so I wasn't really me playing. But so I've never technically played a game before, and so it wasn't any particular like goal of mine to one day write music for for games. It just wasn't on my radar. So I didn't think of it in terms of it was going to be a success or not, except for they kept asking me to do more Heroes games, and then they would ask me to do other projects of theirs called like Might and Magic, and then over the years other companies would ask me to do music like Sony and Nintendo, and so yeah, it seemed like, wow, within a few years that's all I was doing was composing music for computer games. And many years ago there was really no feedback. I never heard directly from anybody whether they liked the music or not. Not even the producers. I would do the music, and the people that I worked for, they would just accept the music that I composed and then put it onto the game. But I never really heard from people like, oh, they liked the music or not. So for many years, I didn't think that anybody particularly liked the music, because I never heard from anybody. Nobody ever responded, good or bad. So, but then with the advent of YouTube and people's ability to republish the music online, and then they started attaching my name to it, and then I did have a YouTube account, but it wasn't at all for my work as a composer. It was for my work as a pianist, because I do piano concerts separately outside of composing for Heroes. And then people started asking me, oh, are you the same guy that's playing these piano concerts in Paris? Are you the same guy that also writes music for this computer games, Heroes of Might and Magic and EverQuest? And so sometimes people would come to my concerts and they would ask me, and I said, yeah, I'm the same guy. They go, oh, wow, we had no idea that it was the same person. So little by little, as the advent of YouTube grew, people started understanding who I was, and that I was the composer of these soundtracks. And a lot of people were republishing them a lot, so people were listening to the music just separately, which meant that they became more familiar with the music. And then as they became more familiar with the music, I would get more nice feedback from people. So I would get like hundreds or like actually thousands of letters from people telling me that they really enjoyed listening to the music of Heroes of Might and Magic separately from just playing the game. So after many years of that, I started getting invitations from different countries to come and perform the music from Heroes live. And so that was a really a surprising request, because for me, I always thought the music was like background music for a game, not something that would be on a concert stage listening to as just music, like a concert music. So I was kind of confused. I remember the first time somebody asked me, can you come and tour Russia and perform, and we're gonna set the whole tour up for you? Like, oh yeah, sure. Should I play like the Rachmaninoff Third Piano Concerto or Chopin, and they were like, no. Nobody wants to see you play that. They want to see you play they want to see you play you. And I go, really? They go, are you sure? Like, I mean, I've definitely toured before, but playing the music of other people, Liszt and Chopin and Bach and Rachmaninoff, but I've never toured playing my own music. So that was, so are you sure? So the guy goes, well, let me show you. So what he did, he simply put like one little, like a poster, like just a little poster on this concert hall doorway in St. Petersburg, Russia. He literally just taped one little piece of paper, and it said, Paul Romero, composer of Heroes of Might and Magic, live in concert. and he had the date, and within that day, I think less than a day, all the tickets had sold out. So he showed me. He goes, "Look," he goes, "This is people want to see you play your music." So I go, "Oh wow." He goes, "Okay, so I'm going." So I believed him. So I saw that there was an audience who wants to hear the music separately. So I agreed, and I went out on tour for the first time with Heroes, and I played like pretty much every major city in Russia, and it was kind of an eye opener for me. It's like, wow, this music can actually translate onto the concert stage, and then I actually got to meet the players of Heroes of Might and Magic just through the concerts, because they would wait to talk to me after the concert was over, and people were telling me their stories of how they learned how to play it, who they played with, how they learned how to speak English because of the game, how they learned how to like classical music because of the game. So I just had one amazing experience after another after that happened. So no, I did not know that the music was going to be such an integral part of the game. And one of the reasons why I think people might like the music is because the music that I compose is directly inspired and is of the musical language of my favorite composers, which are Bach and Brahms and Beethoven and Rachmaninoff and Chopin and Liszt. So since I was a little kid, I played the music of all of these composers, and then I would learn their musical language, and then I would make up my own music using their language. So it's sort of like learning French, and you learn French through Voltaire and all the great French writers. But then now you've learned how to speak French, and now you can tell your own stories through this French language. And this is how I did it with my own composing ability. I would just listen to all these great composers. I would learn how to play their music. I would learn to feel how the music feels in my hands. And then I would learn how to replicate it through their own sounds, and then start making up my own melodies and my own tunes, but using their languages. So I think that's why game companies like to use me as a composer, because I know the language of the past, especially if it's a strategy turn-based game where the game play itself takes place a long time ago. I because of my ability and knowledge in music of the last 400 years, I can take the listener back to those musical languages and create new music using an old language or old languages of music. So I think that's why people like the music, because they're responding to something that already is great. The music of people say, "Oh, I like your music, Mr. Romero." I say, "Well, if you like my music, you really should listen to the music that inspired me for this particular piece." You know, whether it's Gustav Mahler or Igor Stravinsky or Claude Debussy or Ravel or Mussorgsky, Rimsky-Korsakov, or Chopin. I mean, the list goes on and on. So that's why I think people enjoy the music. So, but like I always tell people, seriously, if you like my music, you're going to really love the music that I'm directly inspired by. So.